But let's get started with your stocks. Our two experts are with us. Sharmila Joshi of sharmilajoshi.com joins in to answer all our stock queries, and Anil Rego of Bright Horizons Financial Services is our personal finance expert this afternoon. Good afternoon to both of you. Our first query is with us. Veena has written to us from Pune. She says she has 250 shares of Bank of Baroda, which she has bought at the rate of 215, so she's making quite a bit of a loss over there. Now wants to know whether she should stay invested in the stock or exit. Sharmila, we saw a massive rally on Bank of Baroda the day the numbers were announced, primarily because it didn't look as bad as we were thinking after PNB. But immediately the next day, a lot of brokerages don't seem too bullish. The management themselves said that asset quality stress could continue. For someone who's already making a loss, what's the advice?
Yeah, so I think, as you said, last quarter we saw a very bad set of numbers from Bank of Baroda, and this quarter was definitely an improvement. But that said, I think, you have to see it just for what it is, that it's an improvement over last quarter, but it doesn't anyway signal that you're over that wall of the asset concern that is there across PSU banks. So yes, the stock did correct largely because PNB declared such bad numbers that a lot of it dragged down a lot of other PSU banking stocks with it, and then you saw a bit of a recovery. But that said, I think you have to be a little cautious over the next couple of quarters over PSU banking as a space. But I think that this would be the wrong price to really sell. So I think from that perspective, this stock becomes a hold for me. I think the caveat here is that your waiting period should be 12 to 18 months, and then I think that the investor will see a price better than what she bought it at. But that said, as I said, she just needs to keep patience and stay invested. I think even to average, I would just wait a little bit because, as we've clearly seen today, markets seem to be fairly volatile. They can't really seem to make up their mind. So I think we need to wait to see that there is a sense of stability and some kind of buying return. And then maybe you could look to average. But for now, I would say just stay put and, as I said, be patient.
All right, then. That's the outlook on Bank of Baroda. Pull up HDFC Bank, by the way. That stock seems to have moved towards the high point of the day. So good going on that stock as well, holding with a gain of close to around 2%. Stock at the high point of the day. Let's go to our next query. Jaya writes to us from Nagpur. She has a personal finance query. She has invested in LIC life cover with a total sum assured of around 10 lakh rupees. She wants to know whether or not she should buy another term plan for her family. Anil, let me come across to you. I'll give you a couple of other details. Her age is 36 years, and in fact, she is a professional. What do you think, Anil?
Yeah, I think the first thing to start off with is to look at what is the life cover that you actually need, and then you say what is the amount. And the way to do it is just look at, let's say, what are your liabilities, look at what are you earning, and what is the capital your family would need in case you're not there to take care of, let's say, day-to-day living as well as the key needs that the person has. So that's the first point. In terms of the second is to look for term plans which are cheaper. Let you look at the premium, as well as you look for what is the claim settlement ratio. LIC has a very good claim settlement ratio, but the premiums may be a little high. So it's a good idea to look at alternatives. Look at ICICI Pru Life as well as HDFC Standard Life have a good settlement ratio of 94%, and their premiums are likely to be much cheaper. Of course, you have some companies which have even cheaper plans, and they are like Max as well as Kotak. They also have ones which are, let's say, above 90% claim settlement ratio. So re-look at your overall insurance. Evaluate also whether you can find a better term plan than what you have currently, and if it's so, then probably increase your new term plan that you're looking for to also incorporate whatever you're leaving in terms of the LIC plan.
All right, Jaya, so that was a pretty comprehensive advice. I hope you were listening to that. Up next, we have Lakshmi, who's on the line with us from Andhra Pradesh. Hi, Lakshmi. How can we help you?
Hello, ma'am. Good afternoon. I have 300 shares of PTC which I brought at 93 rupees.
Okay.
And I wanted to know, actually, I wanted to invest it for a long term, 3 to 4 years, or even more than that. So what's the future? Should I hold it or have it?
Okay, and any particular reason you bought this? Do you have a portfolio of other stocks as well?
Yes, I brought it because I just wanted to have some stocks in the power sector.
Okay.
So I know
Do you hold other stocks as well?
yes, ma'am.
Okay. So Sharmila, it looks like she has a pretty diversified set of stocks in her portfolio. But what's the call on PTC? I mean, I'm trying to see a one-year chart of this stock, or rather the YTD. The stock has done almost nothing. Even in the whole 1 year, it's just up about 10% odd. What should one do?
So I think that's one of the reasons why a lot of people also buy PTC, because it's a fairly stable stock from that perspective. I think though it's corrected quite a bit along with a lot of stocks within the power play. So I think since she has a 3 to 4 year perspective, and again I think that this would be completely the wrong price to really sell the stock. I think just stay put. I would have a target of closer to 115, because I think even within the power play, because it's a company that really trades in power and it is like a financial. So I think over a period of time, once you see the sector improving, you can expect financials for PTC also to improve maybe a little ahead of the curve. So I think from that perspective, for me, the stock is a hold. And as I said, my target would be 115, and I think you need to wait at least a year more to see anything closer to this price.
But our next caller is already standing by. So Kunal calls us from Mumbai, and he has investments in TBZ. Hi Kunal.
Hi.
Kunal, आपका सवाल क्या है?
सर मेरे पास TBZ के शेयर लिए हैं करीबन 1-1.5 हफ्ते पहले 157 के रेट से 10,000 शेयर है. तो मुझे 1 से 1.5 महीने के मतलब होल्डिंग पे जानना था क्या पोजीशन सर.
ऑलराइट. और कुणाल जी, आप लॉन्ग टर्म इन्वेस्टर, आप बस 1-2 महीने के लिए रोकने का?
हाँ, मतलब ये शॉर्ट टर्म के बेसिस पे लेना था, क्योंकि आज इसका रिजल्ट डिक्लेयर कल हुआ था तो अच्छा हुआ था रिजल्ट कल उसका, वो बेसिस पे मैंने लिया था.
Okay. Sharmila, how can we help him out? I mean, for a retail investor to buy 10,000 shares and he's buying it just for the short term, it's not looking good at all. He's made a loss of 40,000 already.
Yeah, and I'm afraid, the numbers I think were decent, but overall it's not a space that I like much, because I think what we are seeing is definitely that the entire consumption space has not really picked up the way, you would have envisaged maybe 8 to 9 months back, and a lot of them have declared indifferent sort of numbers. So I think given that, I would really exit, I mean, very honestly, I don't have a view for a month or two. So in that respect, maybe I'm not the best person to advise, but I think that it's not a stock which is on my buy list, and not a stock that I would really invest in. So only from that perspective, I'm saying exit. But as I'm saying, this is not necessarily a 2-month view.
All right, up next we have Pankaj, who's called in from Kethal in Haryana. Hi Pankaj.
Yeah, ma'am.
बताइए आपका क्या सवाल है?
मैम मैं 1000 HDFC टॉप 200 पर मंथ से मैं डाल रहा हूँ लास्ट 2 ईयर से, और 1000 में डाल रहा हूँ ICICI प्रोडेंटल पॉकेट ब्लू चिप में.
ओके.
और 1000 में डाल रहा हूँ रिलायंस इक्विटी अपॉर्चुनिटी फंड में.
ठीक है.
तो मेरी टाइम होराइजन मिनिमम 5 ईयर्स है, मैक्सिमम 15 ईयर्स है.
लेकिन आपकी तो एज बहुत कम है, क्यों आप 5 इयर्स के लिए रखना चाहते हैं? आपका कोई गोल है?
मेरा पर्पस तो सिर्फ एज ए सेविंग ही है, क्योंकि मेरी 3.5 साल की बेटिया है.
ओके, ठीक है.
तो मैं इसके अंदर 2000 और बढ़ा भी सकता हूँ अगर मेरे को बढ़ाना हो. और क्या मेरे पोर्टफोलियो में जो मैं इसको कंटिन्यू कर रहा हूँ ये ठीक है? अगर चेंजिंग करनी है तो किस में करूँ?
Okay, Anil, he has already 3 funds, ICICI Prudential Focus Blue Chip, Reliance Equity Opportunities and HDFC Top 200. Now of this, I think HDFC Top 200 has been the least performing of these 3 funds. He wants to invest a further 2,000 rupees a month in an SIP. So should he switch from any of these funds? Should he add on a 4th fund, or should he perhaps just look at consolidating between these 3?
Yeah, it's good that he's investing at an early age, and he's already started his investment journey. Based on his age and also the tenure that he is looking at, he can actually look at a bit of a higher risk, and hence he can have the mid-cap exposure a little higher than the large caps. Currently he has 2 large cap funds, and Reliance Equity Opportunities is a mid-cap fund. So I would suggest that he can do this reallocation by just increasing one more fund and probably a Franklin India smaller companies fund is what he can start an SIP into, so that automatically his ratio towards mid caps goes up, and he can maybe put the full 2,000 rupees a month into this fund.
ओके पंकज, आपके लिए यही राय है कि जो आप फिलहाल 1,000 रुपए हर स्कीम में अपनी डाल रहे हैं 3 स्कीम्स में, उसको आप कंटिन्यू रखिए, और एक फ्रैंकलिन इंडिया स्मॉलर कंपनीज फंड है, क्योंकि अभी जो फिलहाल आपके म्यूचुअल फंड्स हैं वो सब बड़ी कंपनीज में है, लार्ज कैप्स में इन्वेस्ट करते हैं, तो थोड़ा मिड कैप एक्सपोजर के लिए हमारे एक्सपर्ट ने रेकमेंड किया है फ्रैंकलिन इंडिया स्मॉलर कंपनीज फंड, और जो पूरा जो 2,000 एक्स्ट्रा आपका है वो आप इस फंड में डाल सकते हैं. We have Madan, who is called in from Rajasthan with a query. Hi Madan, how can we help you?
हाँ मैडम, हेलो.
Hi, बताइए क्या सवाल है?
मैडम मेरा चंबल फर्टिलाइजर दे रखे हैं मैंने 72 के भाव के 50 शेयर है.
अच्छा.
हाँ, तो मेरे को इस पे क्या पोजीशन रखनी चाहिए, होल्डिंग करना है या?
आप इन्वेस्टर हैं या आप ट्रेडर हैं?
नहीं, मैं तो इन्वेस्टर हूँ, पर मैंने शॉर्ट टर्म के लिए ही किया था.
अच्छा, लेकिन फर्टिलाइजर स्टॉक क्यों चुना आपने इन्वेस्टमेंट के लिए?
मैडम उस समय चल रहा था, मैंने आपके CNBC पे ही सुना था कि फर्टिलाइजर का अच्छा चल रहा है, तो मैंने ले लिया.
ओके. आइंदा जब आप एडवाइस सुने तो आपको देखना चाहिए कि वो लॉन्ग टर्म इन्वेस्टमेंट है या वो ट्रेडिंग पॉप के लिए बता रहे हैं. हर चीज इन्वेस्टमेंट के लिए नहीं होती. बट शर्मिला, व्हाट कैन वी हेल्प हिम, इफ यू कुड आंसर हिम इन हिंदी.
तो जैसे कि हम चाहते हैं कि आज ही हमने एक नए यूरिया पॉलिसी की बात सुनी है, जिस वजह से मुझे लगता है कि फर्टिलाइजर स्टॉक्स में आज काफी बाइंग आई है, तो थोड़ी आई थिंक क्लैरिटी और चाहिए कि क्या इस नए पॉलिसी से क्या पॉजिटिव इम्पैक्ट हो सकता है. और उसके साथ साथ जैसे मॉनसून अप्रोच होता है तो हम देखते हैं कि थोड़ा बहुत फर्टिलाइजर में बाइंग जरूर आता है. सो आई थिंक अगर हम मार्केट में इस तरह की थोड़ी बहुत बाइंग देखें मिड कैप्स में और यूरिया पॉलिसी में कुछ पॉजिटिव हो, तो आई थिंक फर्टिलाइजर स्टॉक्स रखने में कोई मतलब है. तो आई थिंक होल्ड फॉर अभी के लिए आप होल्ड करें और थोड़ा न्यूज ट्रैक करें अगले 1-2 दिनों में. नहीं तो एक मेरे हिसाब से 2-3 महीने के लिए आप इसमें बने रह सकते हैं और देख सकते हैं कि सच में कुछ पॉजिटिव निकल आ रहा है फर्टिलाइजर एज ए सेक्टर के लिए या नहीं. सो आई थिंक मेरा कोई ऐसा टारगेट नहीं है, बट क्योंकि थोड़ा न्यूज फ्लो पॉजिटिव है इसलिए अभी के लिए बने रहिए.
All right, then for the time being, just hold on to those fertilizer stocks. But our final query we have is Ankit writes to us with his personal finance query. He wants to invest 50,000 rupees for 3 to 5 years in an SIP funds, and he wants to know which of the top 3 funds he can invest in. Anil, over to you. How can you help him?
Ankit, it's good to see you wanting to invest early and a good reasonable amount of 50,000 rupees a month. The point I would like to make out here is sometimes we look for the best performing fund on a short term basis, and the short term can even mean 1 year. I would suggest you look at how consistent a fund is over a period of time, maybe 1 year, 3 year, 5 year returns. Compare all of them and then choose your fund. The funds that I would suggest is a combination of mid cap and large cap funds, and large cap funds could include ICICI Focus Blue Chip and say UTI Equity Fund. On the mid-cap side, you can look at Franklin India Smaller Companies Fund, as well as SBI Small and Mid-Cap Fund. So you could have your weightages in them according to your risk appetite, and if you actually have a need which is, let's say, closer to 3 years or so, then you can even add a balanced fund to your portfolio.
All right, Ankit, hope that advice works for you.